What's so special about MPC 2.15 that you won't upgrade to MPC 3? I mean, it's got the cool arranger, it's got disk streaming. I mean, who cares if you can't do the one sequence method? Well, guess what? I care. And today, I'm going to show you why. What's going on, guys? It's your brother O.T.G. The O.T.G's for Overtime Grind. Hardly seen, but I'm always around. And today I got my MPC 1 retro with the 2.15, so I guess it really is retro, right? And I got a beat already lined out on sequence 1. You know, I'm going through all of the parts right now, and it's just on one sequence, no song mode, no nothing. So I'm going to show you guys what it is that everybody likes about utilizing the one sequence method without using the arranger, without using song mode. And by the end of this video, you might have a better understanding for why we like it. So make sure you stay till the end. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, check out everything in the description. All right, so I'm using a couple plugins, Subfactory, MPC, the piano plug, just a couple plugins to make this happen. Some drums I sampled from my Yamaha Seek track. No big deal, no big deal. So you can see now we're in the track mute screen. I'm going to go ahead and mute everything. You can see, boom, 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 boom. I'm going to go out to the main. I'm going to hit the pencil. I'm going to duplicate this out to 64 bars. Once I get it to 64 bars, I'm going to go back to my trap mutes. And then I'm just going to hit stop and record, and we're going to record this arrangement in real time. So first thing, I'm going to bring that bass in the middle of the bar, and you can see it just comes in when we unmute it. Now, everything comes in pretty quickly, you know what I mean? This is one of the things when people say, hey, well, you just won't be able to do this anymore. But that's extremely important, and that's something that you can't really, it would be extremely tedious to draw in the MPC 3 software. And it's extremely important in the MPC 2.15 software. It's part of the reason why I would stay. You know, I hear people saying all of the other things, but this is a big reason for me to stay. So I'm not only going to let you hear it, but you can just see how organic it is. You can look at the numbers in the corner. You can see we're not really paying attention to bars. We going by feeling. So we getting good intros in because we're coming in on the 4th right before we hit the 1. So it gives us some real feel to this simple 4-bar loop that we had going on. We could create our verses, we could create our drop-offs, we could do everything in real time, and we could go back and utilize list edit, and or we could come back and overdub our pieces and our parts in until we got it right. But there's even more to it. There's more to it. So after I finish this beat, what I'm going to do is go on sequence 2. I'm going to make a whole brand new beat utilizing these sounds that are in my memory. And we're going to sequence that out on sequence 2. So you can see how in one project you could have 50 beats with the same sounds if you wanted to, 100 beats with the same sounds if you wanted to, where inside of the MPC 3 software, that's a little bit different. It's just a little bit different. It's going to take a lot more work, a lot more drawing, a lot more editing, a lot more double tapping. And, you know, part of that takes out some of the creativity because you'll be able to see this video is only 15 minutes. And so not only do we sequence one whole beat, one loop that we had, we're going to make a whole nother loop and sequence that out all in the same 15 minutes. Well, inside of MPC 3, as much as I like the cool colors, I like all of the other features that they added, the arranger window is just a no-go for a guy like me, you know what I mean? And I wanted you guys to see it firsthand because I see that a lot of you guys might not know. So if you don't organize this way, or if you don't sequence this way, or if you're not used to this method or don't know how to utilize this method, then the other way will probably be good for you. And that's great. No disses to you, no diss to anybody else. That's why I've been saying the entire time, if you have two MPCs, it might be best just to utilize one MPC on 3.0 and one MPC on 2.15. That way you could get the most out of both things while still having your way of creating in a faster, more organic manner. So you can see that this has recorded everything in. We're going to let it play all the way, play pretty much through, just so you could get some understanding. And you can see it's super concise. This method works. This is the method a lot of people know. This is a method a lot of people use. This is a method that, now that it's gone, and clips mode, you know, we're going to have to talk about them taking clips out, because as many people say they don't use clips, there's just as many people who do. You know, something like this, and the method I'm showing you right now, this is where next sequence comes in handy. Because your next sequence, you could go and start to build out a whole album. You can make a whole album in one project in the MPC. Literally probably 12 to 15 beats. It's all in how you think about it in the initial sounds that you load. And utilizing your memory, all with 2 gig memory, you could do it. And then with next sequence, you could line it up, fire it off, and play a whole album in real time for anybody. You know, these are the things that somebody can't teach you in a tutorial. We could bring it up in a tutorial. I could tell you that exists in a tutorial. I could show you these methods and little short clips and videos and ways of how I utilize it, since guys can't deal with the long form content, you know, and we can present those methodologies to you. But those are the things you're going to have to figure out. And those are the things that you're going to have to weigh in when you're deciding, do you want to upgrade or do you not want to upgrade? And I understand, I hear everybody say, oh, and MPC 3, they said they'll address it in an update. I don't need it in an update. I need it right now. And since it's not available right now, guess what we're not going to do? We're going to get most of our work done. So now I'm on sequence 2, just to show you. We have beat 1 on sequence 1, and now we're starting beat 2 on sequence 2. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to take the sounds that we have from the first sequence, the piano, the strings. We're going to utilize all the same sounds, and we're going to make a whole nother beat on sequence 2. And again, it's not going to be the most amazing beat. That's not the purpose of the video. The purpose of the video is to show you that it can be done. So a lot of people who are not understanding how to make sequences or make songs on MPC 2.15, you could see why people are upset that they don't have the one sequence mode. You could see how it's beneficial to some people's workflows, even if that's not something that you could use. And you could see it actually being done, so it's not done in theory or just a bunch of people talking. one of the tips that I would utilize in making this, outside of me making this for video purposes, is you want to try to keep your tracks as similar as possible if you can. You know, so if on track 1, sequence 1, you have a bass, track 2, sequence 2, you have a piano, you know, you want all of your tracks to be the same across the board. So that way, if you wanted to switch between songs or do something of that nature, or if you wanted to combine 2 sequences, you wanted to combine song 1, sequence 1, and sequence 10, they could go together because all the track mutes are the same, because the tracks are the same. But in the essence of what I'm doing right now, where we are utilizing different sequences to make different beats, it doesn't matter. It's just really important to name your tracks. And, you know, this is the issue that we're having with MPC 3, is you see how I went to track 4 is still feeding off of the Yamaha drum program. Getting rid of the programs and just giving us tracks kind of causes a problem, because now the anatomy of how tracks and programs work, I don't know if a track is just a MIDI track that points to the program or however it works, but the actual foundation of programs and tracks doesn't work anymore in MPC 3, and that's what causes us the problem with the track mutes. So even if they decide to put track mutes back in, I don't think it's going to function in the way that we're seeing it right now, because that functionality only comes with having programs, right? Even though it says it's a drum program, it still operates differently. And you can kind of see how this is working, because on one sequence, I have one set of tracks feeding from the Yamaha drum program. Now on sequence 2, we're building out a whole nother form of drums that are feeding from the Yamaha drum program. And again, we're going to turn this into a full arrangement that is going to be independent of the first arrangement. And when we're done, we'll have 2 64 bar beats at 84 BPM. And I could have changed this BPM and sped it up. I could have done a lot of different things. The independence of the sequences actually works together, and I mean actually works a lot better to me in 2.15. And it's the reason why I'm going to stay there. So, you know, I'm not going to go too in depth with this beat. We're about 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in on it. You know, we get this one loop together, and we're going to make a whole beat out of a 2-bar loop. So once we get this done, add in these couple parts, we're going to head right over to our track mute area. And because we've already named the tracks, it should be extremely easy. We'll do one pass, and then we'll have a setup. Let me know in the comments which version do you like. Are you a 1 sequence method beat maker? Are you a song mode beat maker? Are you going to be an arranger mode beat maker? What kind of method is the method that you feel like fits your style of music production best on the MPC? Let's put it in the comments and have a conversation about it. You know, it's a safe space over here. Here we go, guys. All right, we're going to go now. We're going to hit the pencil. We're going to duplicate our sequence out. We're going to get it to 64 bars. We're going to hit track mute. Going to mute everything but our main sound. And now, here we go. I'm going to show you the same way we just did it, so you can see it 2 times, one video. Benefits. We can come in whenever we want to when we're unmuting. When it's red, it's muted. When it's yellow, it's playing. Now we drop down. This is our verse. We cut the piano. We have our pad playing. And now we're creating like a verse space. Now we can put a drop off in the verse space and transition over to the second half of the verse, or to maybe a pre-chorus. But again, utilizing this format creates a unique arrangement in real time that can't be duplicated when you are doing it sequence for sequence, and or going through the arranger and erasing pieces piece by piece. You should easily be able to see the value and why so many people stand by this. And this is one of the, I think this is one of the biggest issues with moving forward with MPC 3 or staying at MPC 2.15. Everything else I like about it, but the fact that I can't do what I'm showing you right now anymore, it's worth me staying at MPC 2.15 forever if that's the case. So if that means I can't upgrade and get more plugins, so be it. If that means that we can't utilize certain features in the future, so be it. The backbone of how I make probably about 70 or 80% of my tracks is in this method, and knowing that this method is here also helps me once I get the song mode. So the only other option becomes having two MPCs and getting everything pretty much arranged this way on one MPC, and then opening it up on MPC 3. And if I wanted the traditional arranger method or window and I could see it in that way, that would be the only other benefit. It might be a way to utilize these, but let me know, guys. Right now, you just seen it. So we got 2 beats, 2 sequences. We have unlimited sequences or 999 sequences inside of the MPC. All of these sounds that I have are already in the memory. So that means I could go and just make continuous beats at all kinds of BPMs utilizing these sounds. And that method actually works, is stable, and I like it better than the arranger mode. But let me know how you feel. You can see, here's beat 2. And then I'll go ahead and I'll show you beat 1. There it is, beat 1 on sequence 1. And this is all in one project. You get it? So this is extremely important. I don't know how Akai's going to fix it. For me, I'm not going to wait for an update. I'm just going to stick to 2.15. The update could be 2 years from now. I don't want to wait that long. If it ain't broke, I'm going to stick where I'm at. That's how I made it. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and we got another one, guys. O.T.G.